Namaste. Let's get started with Unit 2, that is Unit 2 titled Embedded Processor Architecture. Embedded Processor Architecture. In this Unit 2, we will be looking at these topics. Architecture means the construction of the processor, how different things present in the processor, and what are the instruction set, what is the instruction set supported by that processor. This is what is architecture of the processor. And in this unit 2 we talk about ARM controllers, advanced RISC machine processors or controllers, their architecture, their features and instruction set supported in ARM processors. That is the main aim of unit 2. Next, the first topic is CISC versus RISC design philosophy. Okay, as a first topic we talk about two main processor architectures. One is CISC, the other one is RISC, right? You can classify processors into these two categories. One is CISC, other one is RISC. Here CISC stands for complex instruction set computer and RISC stands for reduced instruction set computer, right? So these are the two main architectures that exist for designing the processors. In other words, most of the processors, almost any processor will fall into one of these categories, CISC versus RISC. Whereas we also talk about ARM. ARM is not purely RISC nor is it CISC. It is blend of CISC as well as RISC. ARM evolved or contains all the good features of RISC and CISC. You may call it a hybrid architecture. Now in this class we will see what is RISC architecture and what is CISC architecture, what are the features that are present in RISC and CISC, good features and also demerits. So we start with the RISC and then CISC. At the end we differentiate these two features in a table. Now let's read out. RISC stands for what? Reduced instruction set computer, right? RISC architecture. RISC architecture. Now see the microcontroller architecture that utilizes. Here we are saying microcontroller. It need not be a microcontroller. It may be a processor. The microcontroller architecture that utilizes small and highly optimized set of instructions is termed as the reduced instruction set computer or simply called as RISC. It is also called load store architecture. Now see the microcontroller architecture that utilizes small number of instructions. It has instruction set with fewer instructions than CISC variety, CISC family of computers, right? In CISC computers, the instruction set is very lengthy, very heavy. It contains more number of instructions, whereas RISC has few instructions compared to CISC architectures. It has instructions not more than 150 or so. Means there are no instructions here which are redundant. Okay, which is the case with CISC architecture. That is why it is called highly optimized set of instructions. There is no instruction which is useless or which is less frequently used. That's what it means. Okay, the microcontroller architecture that utilizes small and highly optimized set of instructions. It has few instructions and all the instructions are very useful. That too, oftentimes they are used. Unlike the case as that of unlike the CISC architecture. It is also called load store architecture. It is called load store architecture because there are only two instructions that exist or that are supported by RISC, which are used to transfer data from processor to the memory. In other architecture called CISC, there are many instructions. By using those instructions, we can transfer data from memory to the processor registers. Okay, processor means in the processor we have these things: register bank, we have registers like accumulator, A register, B register, or in some other processors they are named like R1, R2, R3 and so on. This is what is present in the processor. And generally where the program is stored in separate memory. It is not part of the processor. It is stored outside the processor, and also the data that is to be processed within the processor, that is also present within the memory. So neither data nor program is stored in the processor. In the processor we have arithmetic logic units and control unit, register bank. Register bank is just a group of registers which are very close to the processing unit or control unit or ALU, like that. And the memory in which the program is stored and also the data is stored, that is not part of the processor. Now see, if you want to add two numbers which are present in the memory, if you want to add two numbers which are present in the memory, you cannot do it in RISC architecture. You cannot directly add two numbers which are present in the memory by using RISC computer. So what you have to do is you have to transfer the two numbers which are present in the memory to the registers present within the processor by using instruction called load. Load instruction transfers data from memory to one of the registers. It may be R1 register or R2 register or A register or B register, whatever. Okay, this is the only instruction. Load is the only instruction. By using this instruction, we can transfer data from memory to the local registers. Okay, and so you have to write like this, right? And if you want to store the results after the processing, after the data is processed, the results, if you want to store in the memory, you don't have a direct instruction in RISC architecture. Okay, we have only one instruction. By using this instruction, we can transfer data which is present in the processor register to memory. That is this instruction. By using store instruction, we can do it. So that's why it is also called load store architecture. Okay, maybe in the future lectures you will understand this better when we talk about registers and so on, right? Let's see in the next slide. Now take this example, you may understand why it is called load store architecture. This is the operation that we want to perform. Okay, B plus C means we want to add the contents of B to contents of C and store that result in A, where B is one memory location, one location in the memory, C is another location in the memory. C is another location in the memory, and we have to add such two numbers which are located in memory called B, in memory location whose address is B. Second number is located in the memory location whose address is C. We need to add these two. We need to add these two numbers right, and store the result back to another location which is also present in memory, right? For the, if that is the task, you can do this task directly in CISC architecture, whereas in RISC architecture it is not possible. In CISC architecture you may write like move operation, you may write move operation, move, not move, add operation, add, and it may have three operands. The first operand is the destination address of the memory. The second operand may be the second operand, address of the second operand. First operand may be the address of the first operand. Means all the operands may be addresses of locations. Are you following? Addresses of locations. So with one instruction you can do the whole addition operation where the operands are stored in memory and the result is also stored back to the memory. That is not possible with RISC instruction. So there is no instruction other than load and store directly access the memory contents. Okay, all other instructions other than this load and store, they cannot access the memory locations. So if you want to do the same thing, which is possible, which if you want to do this in CISC, you need only single instruction. If you want to do the same thing in RISC, you have to write long code, lengthy code like this. First of all, bring the contents of B. B is the location in the memory to register R1. Okay, by using load. Just now we said load is the only instruction that transfers memory contents B to R1, and load R2 to C. Take another memory location which is C and load the data to another register R2. Okay, load operation is used to do that. There is the only operation which transfers data from memory to the register. We are talking about RISC architecture. Next, once we fetch the data which is present in the memory to the registers R1, R2, now this add instruction, by using this add instruction we can add the contents of the registers. See, all the instructions in the RISC architecture, they access only registers, local registers like R1, R2, R3, R4. There are maybe 20 registers or 30 registers or 40 registers, 50 registers. There are so many registers available in the RISC architecture. This is not the case with CISC. There are only few registers present in the CISC architectures. Now R1, R2 is added. That result is stored in R3. Okay, that result is stored in R3. Now what we want to do, we want to store the result which is the addition of B and C back to A. So store R3. R3 is having the result. We store that to either C or A. You may write A or C or whatever, right? So for this reason, this RISC architecture is called load store architecture. Load store means there are two instructions. By using these instructions we can access the memory contents. Okay, no other instruction other than these two can do it. Next, so now let's see the features of RISC architecture. Features of RISC architecture: pipelining technique. Pipelining, typical features of RISC architecture. Look at the first one. Pipelining technique of RISC executes multiple parts or stages of instructions simultaneously. such that every instruction on the CPU is optimized. Hence, the RISC process have clock per instruction of 1 cycle, and this is called as 1 cycle execution. And pipelining is very important concept. It is almost used in all the architectures. With pipelining, you can reduce the execution time. Without pipelining, the execution time will be increased. There will be a lot of execution time. See, pipelining is basically, see, normally what we think, if you build the processor very loosely, very sloppily, that processor works like this. It fetches the first instruction. Until the first instruction is executed completely, the second instruction will not be fetched. Right? That's what happens normally if you don't implement pipelining in the processor. Okay, what happens without pipelining is one instruction is fetched. Until the first instruction is executed fully, the second instruction will not be fetched. Okay, that is what happens in the processor where there is no pipelining. Now see, if the processor is having this pipelining, what happens is, after fetching the first instruction, see, instruction execution can be divided into smaller steps like fetching the instruction, decoding the instruction, executing the instruction. These are completely independent units. These are completely independent things. So after fetching the first instruction, when the first instruction goes to decoding, at the time fetch unit, it can fetch the second instruction. It can fetch the second instruction. At the time first instruction is in the decoding. Okay, decoding, and first instruction goes to, in the next clock cycle, first instruction goes to execution. At the time second instruction is in the decoding unit. At the same time third instruction is fetched. Like that, if you look at this, then you will notice there will be reduced execution time. Right? It is something like, if you want to dry one, there are 10 cloths to be dried. What we are doing is, instead of drying all of them at the same time, we are drying the first cloth, and it takes maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes. We are drying the second cloth, like that. So we are unnecessarily wasting the time. So pipelining, in the pipelining technique, we optimize the CPU for reduced execution time. We optimize the CPU for execution time. That's what we do in the pipelining. And why it is the good feature for RISC architecture? RISC architecture pipelining technique is we can implement pipelining technique very easily in RISC architecture. It is not that easy in CISC architecture, because in the RISC architecture all the instructions are same length instructions, single word instructions. Single word instructions may be 32-bit. All of them are single word instructions, 32-bit or 64-bit or 16-bit, depends on the architecture of the processor. All instructions are of the same length. If that is the case, we can implement pipelining technique very easily with less hardware. Okay, if the instructions are like this, the instructions are, some instructions are 16-bit instructions, some instructions are 8-bit instructions, some of them are 32-bit instructions. If the instruction word length differs, then implementing pipelining becomes difficult, becomes complex. You need complex circuitry to implement different length instruction set than implementing the single length instruction set, same length instruction set. Next, it optimizes the usage of registers with more number of registers in the RISC, and more number of interactions within the memory can be prevented. And in the RISC, these are the only two instructions. What are the instructions? Load and store instructions can directly access the memory. All other instructions like move or add or subtract in the RISC architecture, they only access the registers inside the registers like R1, R2, R3 and so on. And see, by using R1, R2, R3 registers is faster than using the memory locations, using the external memory. It optimizes the usage of registers with more number of registers in the RISC. So RISC has more number of registers, R1, R2, R3 or like that. Maybe you will find 50 registers or 60 registers like that. That many registers are not there in CISC architectures. So in the CISC architecture, if you want to add two numbers, then those two numbers may be present in the memory. CISC instructions, they directly access the memory contents. Okay, it is a little slow, and RISC is faster because all the instructions, they access the registers. There are plenty of registers. They can make use of these registers, and so it is a good optimization. And more number of interactions within the memory can be prevented. So if that is the case, if we have more registers, there is no need for the no need to access the memory contents that frequently. So whatever the data that you want to process, first bring the data which is present in the memory to these registers, since there are plenty of registers, by using load instruction, and now directly use the data present in those registers which are very close to the processor, which are within the processor. So we can next, simple addressing modes. RISC uses addressing modes, maybe maximum of 3 addressing modes or not more than that. Addressing modes means where the data is coming from. Is it coming from where the data that is being processed is coming from? That is what is addressing mode. Okay, we will talk about addressing modes later. We have a separate topic called addressing modes. While talking about the instruction set, we talk about these addressing modes. So RISC uses simple addressing modes, whereas CISC uses, there are many addressing modes, like more number of addressing modes. It has more number of addressing modes, whereas RISC has maybe maximum of 4 addressing modes. It simplifies the compiler design by using identical general purpose registers, which allows any register to be used in any context. This we will see later. We have different modes of the processor. At the time we will understand these things. Next, for efficient usage of the registers and optimization of the pipelining uses, reduced instruction set is required. If you want to implement pipelining, for implementing pipelining you need hardware. Okay, you need hardware. If you want to implement pipelining easily, the instruction set requirements, the criteria that is criteria for the instruction set to be very small. If the instruction set is very large, means it contains more instructions, and that too complex instructions and variable length instructions, it is very difficult to implement this pipelining and the problems that arise in the pipelining. Okay, the number of bits used for the opcode is reduced. In the reduced instruction set, the number of instructions themselves are very few, so opcode uses very little number of bits. The number of bits used for the opcode is reduced. In general, there are 32 or more registers in the RISC, and he is saying there are 32 registers or more than that. But you will not find this many registers in the CISC computers. They will have maybe 5 or 6 general purpose and so on. Okay, there are plenty of registers in the RISC. The idea is, if you bring the data which is to be processed from the memory to the registers, next, this is one-time job. After that, you can process the data which is present in the registers very easily. It takes little time, and there are no instructions which can directly access the memory. If you are using add instruction or subtraction instruction, they access the registers, not directly the memory. The only registers, the only instructions which can access the memory are load and store. Load for transferring data from memory to the processor registers, store for transferring data which is stored in the processor register to the memory. Next, advantages of RISC processor architecture. Advantage of RISC processor architecture. Instead of using stack, many RISC processors use the registers for passing arguments and holding the local variables. If you want to intermediate results, if you want to store, let's say we are doing some complex algorithm, we are executing some complex algorithm. In between, many times we get intermediate results. Intermediate results means, for example, if you are performing multiplication, we get some intermediate results. We write them somewhere on the paper. Those results will be used later on. The same thing happens in the processor also. In the CISC architecture, we use a stack memory, kind of memory. You might have aware of these things, stack, to store the intermediate results. Whereas in RISC, since there are many registers available in the RISC, we can use registers themselves to store the intermediate results. Stack needs again separate instructions themselves to use this stack for storing the intermediate results. Next, RISC functions uses only a few parameters, and the RISC process cannot use the call instructions and therefore use a fixed length instructions which are easy to pipeline. Next, we'll continue. It has the speed of operation can be maximized and the execution time can be minimized. You can see most of the instructions except the load and store, they make use of registers which are very tightly coupled to the control unit and processor, right, within the processor. So speed of operation can be maximized and execution time can be minimized. Means the instruction set of the RISC that executes, it is very faster compared to CISC, which access the memory contents, where many instructions they make use of memory contents directly. So it is very slow compared to RISC. Next one, very less number of instruction formats. A few number of instructions, around 150, and few addressing modes. It has not less than 4. It has very few addressing modes and very few instructions, like around 150. That is the good feature of RISC. Means if you have less number of instructions, you can understand those instructions very easily. That is one good point. There is a bad to it. Later we will see it. Next, drawbacks of RISC processor architecture. Drawbacks of RISC processor architecture. The performance of the RISC processor depends mostly on the compiler or programmer, as the knowledge of the compiler plays a major role while converting the CISC code to a RISC code. Hence, the quality of the generated code depends on the compiler. So here, just in the first slide, see, this is the instruction to be executed. If it is a CISC computer, you can directly write with one instruction, you can write this task. If it is a RISC computer, so what we have to do, you have to write something like this, right? You have to write something like this. So it is additional burden for the compiler. In the high level language, when it comes to high level language, what we write in the high level language, A equal to B plus C, where A is the target location, B and C are source locations, right? A equal to B plus C, that much only we can write. That much only we write in the high level language. Okay. If that high level language code is to be converted and that is to be executed in the RISC computer, the compiler has to produce something like this out of this. Compiler has to produce something like this out of this. Then only this code will be executed in the RISC machine. So it is additional burden for the compiler to write to properly produce something like this out of this. Okay, that is the thing. If a compiler cannot do it, programmer has to write this big code, something like this. Okay, that is one big thing. Very less. So if a compiler is not producing the proper code according to the architecture, then that code takes longer time to execute and so on. If compiler adds unnecessary instructions, if it doesn't produce a nice code, optimized code, okay, optimized code, if the compiler is not able to produce optimized code, then it executes a little slower. So hence the quality of the generated code depends on the compiler. So if RISC computers are efficiency of RISC computers is not fully their own, part of their efficiency also depends on the compiler that you are using with the RISC computers, right? RISC efficiency is not fully its own. Part of it depends on compiler. How better compiler you are using for the RISC computer, for that architecture. Next demerit, while rescheduling the CISC code to a RISC code termed as code expansion. RISC code means what is CISC code? CISC code is like A equal to B plus C. What is the RISC code? Load R1 A, load R2 B, something like that. In the previous slide we have seen that. Termed as code expansion will increase the size. So if you write the same program in CISC architecture, you will get smaller code. Okay. If you look at the code, the same program in RISC code, it will be very lengthy code. Termed as code expansion will increase the size, and the quality of the code expansion will again depend on the compiler and also on the machine's instruction set. Obviously, if you look, there is one program, convolution program or correlation program, let's say. If you want to implement the correlation program in the CISC code, you will have 50 lines of code. If you write the same program in the RISC, you will get more number of lines, maybe 150 lines or so. That is one. Means you need more memory to store the RISC program than it would take for the CISC code to store. Next, we have CISC complex instruction set computer architecture. Now we will see CISC instruction set computer architecture. Let's continue for some time. The main intent of CISC processor architecture is to complete task by using less number of assembly lines. That is the main goal. When people were using assembly language, when there was no high level languages, when people were using assembly languages, let's say, think we were in a assembly language days, and you want to do addition operation. Let's say A equal to B plus C, where B is the one memory location, C is one memory location, A is another location in the same memory. Now what we want to do is, we want to add two numbers which are present in two memory locations. We want to add, and the result is stored back to another memory location called A. Now how do you write the program for that? You can write, if you are using CISC, because CISC instructions can directly access the memory contents. You can write like add first address, first operand is address of one location, second operand is address of another location, third operand is also another address of another location. You can directly, with one instruction, you can do it. But that is not the case with RISC. That is not the case with RISC, because all the operations except load and store, they cannot access the memory, right? So we have to write something like load R1 A, load R2 B, add R1 R2 R3, and store R3 to that location. See, one instruction in CISC, add instruction in CISC, is equivalent to 5 or 6 instructions in RISC. So if that is the case, we are writing assembly language code, it is burden for the programmer to write the programs for RISC than to CISC. Writing programs for CISC is very easy. Writing programs for RISC is very complex. I'm talking about assembly programming. I'm talking about the days where there is no high-level language, right? So if you are writing a high-level language, it doesn't matter. It is completely your job is very easy. Burden will be placed on the compiler. Now it's duty for the compiler to generate code which is suitable for CISC and also for RISC. Now in the we not even bother about for what architecture we are writing the programs. Is it for RISC or CISC? We just write A equal B plus C in high-level language like C or Java. It is responsibility. Now responsibility falls on the compiler. Compiler generates a lengthy code for RISC. Compiler generates small code for one instruction for CISC for addition. Okay. So the main intent of the CISC processor architecture is to complete task by using less number of assembly lines. For this purpose, the processor is built to execute a series of operations. Complex instruction is also termed as MULT, which operates memory banks of computer directly without making the compiler to perform storing and loading functions. See, in the CISC, how the instructions will be, just with one instruction, we can add two contents of the memory and result is stored back to the memory. Let's say add 2000, 3000, 4000. Let's say add 2000, 3000, 4000. This add instruction takes the contents which are present in 2000, 3000 of the memory and adds the result back to 4000 memory. Although it looks like a one instruction, but if you want that instruction to work, there must be sub instructions. Okay, sub instructions. Those sub instructions are stored in the decoding. It means you need complex decoding circuits. Okay, it is very much burden for the control unit. In the control unit, it generates this big add instruction is split into smaller instructions called microcode. Okay, microcode, and they are stored in memory that is called microprogrammed memory, or it can be implemented in hardwired. Okay, hardwired. Next, to simplify features of CISC architecture, to simplify the computer architecture supports microprogramming. To simplify the computer architecture, CISC supports microprogramming. Microprogramming means, although this add instruction cannot do all these things, there must be something called microprogramming where this add instruction has sub instructions. Sub instructions means how add performs. Let's say how add instruction performs. We are writing just one instruction, but internally how it operates is, we are what we are doing, add instruction, add 2000, 3000, 4000 means it adds the contents of 2000 and 3000 and result is stored back to 4000. See how this instruction is executed internal within the processor, right? The processor or control unit, as a first step, it generates it. What it does is it brings the memory from the memory from which location, 2000 location, to one of the register. For that, it has to have some instruction, sub instruction or micro instruction. That is one step. In the second step, it brings the contents of 3000 to the register 2, let's say. For that, it needs to have another sub instruction, and adding them, for that it needs to have one more sub instruction, micro instruction, and sending the result back to 4000 location, it needs another micro instruction. Okay, although we write in one instruction, for us, for programmer, it is one instruction, but how it actually executes within the processor, it needs 5 or 4 instructions, micro instructions. Those micro instructions opcodes are stored within the memory, or it can be implemented in hardware also. Later we talk about hardware and micro program. It is very important, although it is not part of the course. Next, so to simplify the computer architecture, CISC supports microprogramming. So if you have this microprogramming, that increases the complexity of the processor. If you have that, programmer can relax it. Programmer can relax. See, such type of microprogramming is not there in this computer. So the person who writes the assembly program has to write all these things. Fetch the data from the memory, fetch the second data from the memory, add it here, and he has to do everything. But such type of complexity is completely avoided in CISC architecture. So for assembly programming or for designing compilers, CISC is very friendly. You can design very simple assemblers, you can write the program very easily in assembly language, and also you can design compilers very easily. You don't need complex compilers, unlike the case with RISC. Next, CISC have more number of predefined instructions. CISC has more number of predefined instructions, which makes high-level languages easy to design and implement. Okay, we have add instruction, many varieties of add instructions in CISC, many varieties of multiplication instruction in CISC, many variety of subtraction instructions in CISC. Whereas in RISC, it has only one instruction for add, one instruction for subtraction, and so on. Later we will see those versions also. Next, CISC consists of less number of registers and more number of addressing modes, generally 5 to 20. It has more number of addressing modes. Those addressing modes can talk to the memory directly,